Why do people still love to come to America, despite the cry for racism? Many people love America for its diversity, cultural richness, and the opportunities it provides to individuals to achieve their dreams. Others love the beautiful landscapes, amazing landmarks, and historic sites dotted throughout the country. Some are drawn to the American spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and creativity that has led to remarkable advancements in fields such as technology, science, and the arts. Additionally, the freedoms and rights enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, such as freedom of speech and religion, are highly valued by many people. Of course, everyone has their own reasons for why they may love America, and this is by no means an exhaustive information. There are various reasons why some people may feel ambivalent towards America. Here are some possible causes. Political polarization. America is a deeply divided country when it comes to politics, and many people may feel ambivalent about the country due to the divisive nature of political discourse. History of oppression. America's history is one of colonization, slavery, and systemic discrimination against minorities. For some individuals and communities, this history and ongoing issues of inequality may cause ambivalence towards the country. Foreign policy. America's role in global affairs and foreign policy decisions may be a cause for ambivalence in some people, particularly if they disagree with decisions made by the government. Economic inequality. While America is often seen as a land of opportunity, many people may feel ambivalent about the country due to the significant economic inequality and disparities in wealth distribution. Gun violence. America has a high rate of gun violence, and some people may feel ambivalent about the country due to concerns over public safety. Healthcare. Many Americans lack access to affordable healthcare, and this may be a cause for ambivalence in some individuals who feel that the current system is inadequate. These are just a few of the many possible reasons why some people may be ambivalent about America. Racism in America is a complex and multifaceted issue with various historical, cultural, and social factors contributing to its persistence. Here are some of the causes of racism in America. Historical and systemic racism. America has a long history of institutionalized and structural racism, including slavery, Jim Crow laws, and segregation. While these practices have been abolished, they have left a lasting legacy of systemic racism that continues to impact various facets of American life, including education, housing, and criminal justice. Xenophobia and fear of the other. Some people may harbor xenophobic attitudes towards people from different racial and ethnic backgrounds, fueled by a fear of the unfamiliar or a perception of competition for resources. Stereotypes and media representation. Negative stereotypes and biases about certain racial and ethnic groups perpetuate harmful attitudes and behaviors towards those groups. Media representation can also contribute to these stereotypes, either through direct representation or omission. Poor education and lack of exposure. Limited education or exposure to diverse perspectives and experiences can perpetuate racist attitudes and beliefs among individuals. Economic competition. Economic competition and insecurity can sometimes lead people to blame other racial or ethnic groups for their own struggles, resulting in harmful stereotypes and discriminatory attitudes. These are just a few of the many causes of racism in America. Addressing this complex issue requires a comprehensive approach that involves acknowledging and dismantling systemic and individual factors contributing to racism. Eradicating racism and paranoia in America is a complex and long-term process that requires efforts from individuals, communities, and institutions. Here are some possible strategies that could contribute to achieving this goal. Education. Promoting education that emphasizes diversity and multiculturalism can help to reduce the spread of harmful stereotypes and create greater awareness of the experiences of other racial and ethnic groups. Dialogue and communication. Encouraging open and honest dialogue between different racial and ethnic groups can help to break down barriers, promote understanding, and foster greater empathy and respect. Addressing systemic inequalities. Addressing systemic inequalities in areas such as education, employment, and criminal justice can help to create a more equal society and reduce the impact of racism and prejudice. Government action. Government policies and initiatives aimed at promoting equality and combating racism can help to create a more inclusive and just society. Media representation. The media can play a powerful role in shaping attitudes towards different racial and ethnic groups. Promoting greater diversity and representation in the media can help to reduce negative stereotypes and promote greater understanding. Allyship. Allies can play an important role in fighting racism and paranoia by actively supporting and advocating for marginalized communities. It is important to recognize that eradicating racism and paranoia in America requires a sustained effort over time and is not an easy or quick fix. By working together and supporting one another, however, we can create a more equitable, just, and inclusive society that values diversity and celebrates difference. See something, say something can be a helpful tool in addressing racism in America, but it is important to use it responsibly and with intention. The concept of see something, say something encourages individuals to report any suspicious or concerning behavior they witness to the authorities. This can be helpful in situations where there may be overt instances of racism or prejudice, such as racially motivated violence or hate crimes. Reporting these incidents can help to bring awareness to the issue and may also help to prevent further harm. However, it is important to avoid using see something, say something as a means of perpetuating racial profiling or targeting individuals based on their race or ethnicity. Reporting suspicious behavior should be based on objective criteria, rather than assumptions or biases, and should only be done when there is a genuine concern for public safety. Additionally, individuals can also play a role in combating racism by actively working to promote equality and inclusion in their communities. This can involve speaking out against racist or prejudiced attitudes and behavior, educating oneself about racism and diversity issues, and actively promoting diversity and multiculturalism. By being informed, engaged, and proactive, we can work together to create a more just and equitable society for all. In some instances, the police have contributed to racism in America. While there are many police officers who strive to uphold the law and protect all citizens regardless of their race or ethnicity, there have been cases in which the police have perpetuated or enabled racism. One of the ways that police can contribute to racism is through racial profiling, which is when police officers target individuals for suspicion or investigation based on their race or ethnicity. This can lead to over-policing and harassment of certain communities, particularly Black and Latino communities. Additionally, incidents of police brutality and use of excessive force, particularly against people of color, have perpetuated a long-standing history of distrust between communities of color and law enforcement. This has been further perpetuated by the fact that many police officers who have been implicated in such incidents have not faced consequences for their actions. This lack of accountability can erode trust in law enforcement and perpetuate harmful attitudes and beliefs. It is important to note, however, that not all police officers perpetuate racism, and not all interactions between law enforcement and communities of color are negative. Nonetheless, Addressing the issues of racism in the police force requires addressing systemic issues of bias and discrimination, as well as improving police training and accountability. By working towards greater trust, understanding, and dialogue between police and communities of color, we can create a safer and more just society for all. Yes, police can play an important role in helping to reduce racism in America. Here are several ways in which they can contribute to this effort. Training. Providing police officers with education and training on issues related to diversity, inclusion, and bias can help to promote a greater understanding of how racism can manifest and how to avoid perpetuating harmful stereotypes and biases. Community engagement. Building positive relationships between the police and communities of color can help to promote greater trust, understanding, and cooperation. By engaging with community members and listening to their concerns, the police can work together with individuals to identify problems and find solutions. Accountability. Addressing instances of police misconduct or excessive use of force can help to promote accountability and reinforce the message that racism will not be tolerated within the police force. Improving diversity. Enhancing recruitment and retention efforts to promote greater diversity within the police force can help to create a more representative system that reflects the communities it serves. Adopting best practices. Police departments can look to other departments that are successfully addressing issues of racism and learn from their strategies, tactics, and practices. Advocating for systemic change. Police officers can play an important role in advocating for broader systemic changes in areas such as criminal justice reform and access to education and employment opportunities. By working towards these broader goals, the police can help to dismantle the systems and structures that enable racism to persist. Overall, addressing racism requires a sustained and concerted effort from individuals, communities, and institutions. By working together, we can create a more just and equitable society that values diversity and celebrates difference. Communities can play a crucial role in stopping racism in America. Here are some ways that communities can work towards this goal: education and awareness. Educating individuals about the negative impacts of racism and promoting greater awareness of issues related to diversity and inclusion can help to reduce stereotyping and discrimination. Advocacy. Communities can advocate for policy reforms and social justice initiatives to address systemic inequalities and promote greater equality and fairness. Dialogue and communication. Communities can facilitate open and honest dialogue between different racial and ethnic groups to promote greater understanding and empathy. Supporting and amplifying marginalized voices. Communities can uplift the voices of marginalized individuals and groups who have experienced racism and work to amplify their messages and experiences. Creating safe spaces. Communities can create safe spaces where individuals can express themselves without fear of judgment and be supported and protected against racist or discriminatory behavior. Raising awareness through peaceful protests. Peaceful protests can raise awareness of issues related to racism and provide a platform for individuals to make their voices heard. By working together, communities can help to create a more just and equitable society that values diversity and celebrates difference. Through advocacy, education, and dialogue, we can break down barriers, promote understanding, and work towards a more inclusive future. Racism in America is a complex and widespread issue that exists in different parts of the country, affecting various communities and individuals. While it would not be accurate to generalize that racism is more rampant in certain parts of America than others, there are certain parts of the country where racism is more visible or more frequently reported, particularly regarding policy brutality. For example, various national data sources have recently shown that black people are disproportionately killed by police in several states, including disproportionate killings of young black people. Additionally, different studies and surveys identify southern states, especially rural areas, as areas with higher prevalence of racism. However, it is important to avoid the trap of oversimplification or stereotyping any region, as race relations and experiences might vary widely even within a single city. Racism is a widespread problem that requires a comprehensive solution and commitment from all individuals and communities across the country, irrespective of region, background, or creed. It is important that everyone works together to promote equity, equality, and respect for all individuals.